Welcome to the Montana Department of Labor and Industry Employment Standards Division course on independent contractors. In this presentation, we will cover what an independent contractor exemption certificate, or ICEC, is and who needs one. An independent contractor is someone who renders service in the course of an occupation who has been and will be free from control or direction over the performance of services, both under contract and in fact. An independent contractor is engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, profession, or business. A person who regularly and customarily performs services at a location other than their own personal fixed business location must either obtain an independent contractor exemption certificate or self-elect to be covered on a workers' compensation policy unless an exemption exists under 39-71-401 MCA. Business structure and the type of work being performed can have a direct impact on who needs an ICEC or self-elected workers' compensation coverage. Let's take the opportunity now to walk through the different structures. As a sole proprietor, an independent contractor exemption certificate is needed when work is performed outside their fixed business location and the individual has not self-elected workers' compensation coverage. An independent contractor exemption certificate is required for working partner or partners of a general or limited liability partnership if work is done outside of a fixed business location and self-elected workers' compensation coverage has not been obtained. Manager-managed limited liability companies. Working managers of a manager-managed limited liability company in the trucking or construction industry are required to have an independent contractor registration certificate or a self-elected workers' compensation policy. A working member of a member-managed limited liability company must have an independent contractor exemption certificate if work is done outside of a fixed business location and the individual does not have a self-elected workers' compensation policy. In the case of a corporation, a corporate officer who owns more than 10% of the corporation is exempt from self-elected workers' compensation by statute and is not required to obtain an independent contractor exemption certificate. However, all persons engaged in the trucking industry must have an independent contractor exemption certificate or a self-elected compensation policy. Certain work performed is exempt from the Workers' Compensation Act, and therefore individuals are not required to elect coverage or obtain an ICEC. Examples include a real estate, securities, or insurance salesperson paid solely by commission and without a guarantee of minimum earnings. An official including a timer, referee, umpire, or judge at an amateur athletic event. A musician performing under a written contract. To apply for your ICEC, you must first have your business registered with the Montana Secretary of State. Information about how to do this can be found on the Montana Secretary of State website. You can obtain your ICEC application, waiver form, and instructions on the Montana Department of Labor website. A step-by-step guide is available to walk you through the application process. Links and contact information will be provided at the end of this presentation. As you begin your career as an independent contractor, here are a few things to keep in mind. Your independent contractor exemption certificate is non-transferable and may not be used by a spouse or any other person. The certificate is valid for 2 years before you will need to renew. You may only engage in business with the occupations listed on your certificate. For example, if you received your certificate as a tile installer, you may not install appliances. When filling out your form and declaring your occupation, keep in mind certain occupations must be clearly defined, such as a guide, consultant, and installer, just to name a few. There are also general occupations not accepted, such as contractor, independent contractor, entertainer, laborer, manager, or owner and operator. There is no charge to update or add additional occupations to your existing certificate. However, to add an occupation, you may need to provide 15 points of business documentation relative for the new occupation. Please contact the department for any changes to your certificate, including contact information, business name change, and any other pertinent information. As an independent contractor, you may hire other independent contractors. To protect yourself, be sure to verify they are also in compliance. Here you will find a list of resources you can utilize to ensure compliance. You can also find a list of resources in the video description. Thank you for joining us for the Independent Contractor presentation. For more information, please visit the Employment Standards Division website or contact us by telephone or email.